All praise, glory, and honor is most certainly due to the Most High Elohim of the patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I want to say peace to each and every one of you in the name of his son, Yahushua HaMashiach, who we know as Jesus Christ. So it's a blessing each and every single time that I come before you, bring a message containing his word. I never count it as a light thing to do so. In today's message, I want to deal with the importance of wisdom. Again, that is the importance of wisdom. You know, as we live this life, we should seek knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And it is through wisdom that the worlds were even made by the Most High. He did it through his son. And it is also the beginning of knowledge is the fear of the Lord. And so you want to operate in that because of what the one who was sovereign is going to do. We need to be wise concerning that. Okay, people have acquired wisdom or knowledge of a number of things in this life. But ultimately, the most profound thing that you can realize is that it's going to come a time where you have to be judged. Let's pick it up in Proverbs the 8th chapter in the wisdom writings. This is Proverbs the 8th chapter, and we want to pick it up at verse 11. Notice what he says here. It says, "For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not to be compared to it." Okay, so wisdom is paramount. Wisdom is valuable. He says, now right here goes on to personify wisdom. He said, "Our wisdom dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions." Okay, then he says, notice what he says here in verse 22. It says, "The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way." Now, me is referring to wisdom. Again, wisdom is personified. Now, what was this wisdom for? It said, "The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way before his works of old. I was set up from everlasting from the beginning or ever the earth was. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no fountains abounding with water. Before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the depth, when he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep, when he gave to the sea his decree, that the water should not pass his commandment, when he appointed the foundations of the earth. Then I was by him as one brought up with him. And I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in the habitable part of his earth. And my delights were with the sons of men." So understand, it is through wisdom that you have the creation. Okay, let's just show you that again. Let's go to Jeremiah. We'll come back to Proverbs, but let's go to Jeremiah. This is Jeremiah, the 10th chapter. Jeremiah 10 says, I'm going to pick it up at verse 8. It says, "But they are altogether brutish and foolish. The stock is a doctrine of vanities." Okay, so it is vain, it is ignorant to worship part of the creation, to take a tree and to deck it with silver and gold, to engage in false worship. Notice the contrast here in verse 10. He says, "But the Lord is the true God. He is the living God, and an everlasting King. As his wrath, the earth shall tremble, and the nation shall not be able to abide his indignation." Then he goes on to say, in verse 12 or verse 11, "Thus shall ye say unto them, the gods that have not made the heavens and the earth, even they shall perish from the earth and from under these heavens. He hath made the earth by his power. He hath established the world," notice what it says, "by his wisdom, and hath stretched out the heavens by his discretion." So he actually knew how to do it. And when we read in Proverbs the 8th chapter, wisdom had to be possessed before the creation. You understand? He is omniscient. He is all-knowing. He's all-wise Elohim, right? So he had this knowledge. But notice these things that he's saying. He's telling you that the earth's going to tremble, right? this, you really need to take heed to the one who made all things, that he is sovereign, and that you're going to have to give an account. This is Proverbs 3. And again, verse 19, what does it say? It says, the Lord by wisdom hath founded the earth, by understanding hath he established the heavens. By his knowledge the depths are broken up, and the clouds drop down the dew. Again, he did this through his wisdom. Okay? But now, let's go to, 1 second here. Again, wisdom is paramount. And it'd be wise to be obedient unto him. Let's pick it up at Job, the 28th chapter. Job 28 says in verse 23, God understandeth the way thereof, and he knoweth the place thereof. For he looketh to the ends of the earth, and seeth under the whole heaven, to make the weight for the winds, and he weigheth the waters by measure. When he made a decree for the rain, and a way for the lightning of the thunder, then did he see it and declare it. He prepared it, yea, and stretched it out. Okay, so he did these things through his wisdom. But what does man have to be wise about? Verse 28, and unto man he said, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom. It's like kind of knowing what you're dealing with. Or in this case, who you're dealing with. You're dealing with one that is omnipotent and omniscient. He says, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. So why would you have to be, it's like when you read in Psalms, the 19th division, where he said, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament that showeth his handiwork. He talks about the creation. He gives Psalm 19 is a cosmological argument for the existence of the Most High. And then what does he do? Later in that same chapter, he starts talking about his law or commandments. Why? Because the fact that he made the creation, he is the source of the creation, lets you know he's sovereign. And therefore, what he requires of us to do, we have an obligation to do it. Because not only is he sovereign, but he's also going to, because he is just, he's also going to bring judgment. That's what people don't realize. So they walk on in darkness, they walk on in ignorance, not realizing they're going to have to give an account. So he said again, verse 28, and unto man he said, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. Let's go back to Proverbs, but let's pick it up at Proverbs, the 1st chapter. Proverbs, the 1st chapter. Proverbs 1 and verse 7. Proverbs 1 and verse 7. It reads, again, verse 7 says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, right? But then he says, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. It is foolish to despise this. That's the beginning. What's more profound than understanding that, listen, you're going to have to give an account because he's going to bring everybody into judgment. So I don't care what you're learning about. There's nothing more profound about how you're going to get out of the desperate situation that we are all in. Okay? There's nothing more profound than finding out what the Most High requires of us to do. And there's nothing more wise than to do it. You can be wise in a lot of things. It's some people you don't want to shoot dice with. They'll take all your money. Right? Or it's people that are master at the piano. They masterfully play the piano. They're wise in that regard, right? Nothing you do, and I'm not saying, there are things that we do as human, as far as human beings, with our human endeavors that we engage in. But the most profound thing you can understand is that you need to fear the Lord. And he tells you why here. Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 12. He says, and further by these, my son, be admonished, and of making many books there is no end. And must study is a weariness of the flesh. So one might go to the books and find and want to seek knowledge, right? Get some understanding, obtain wisdom. But he says, there's no end to that. But what you need to understand and all you're getting, he said, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. If you ever wonder what you're supposed to be doing, this is it. This is universal. The individual thing you're supposed to be doing deals with what he put inside of you, the genius that is buried inside of you, whatever knack, whatever gift he's giving you, that is individual. This is universal. I'm going to read this again. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Verse 14. Now, why would you do that? Why should you fear him? He says, for God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. So, brothers and sisters, that's the importance of wisdom. I mean, wisdom is so powerful that, this is what the Lord possessed to make the worlds. But when it comes to us, the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. Why so? Because he's going to bring everything into judgment. Again, fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. And with that, brothers and sisters, it's always my prayer that you were edified.